Tips for the Transition, the Career Roadmap podcast. I'm so excited. This is our 200th episode, and we are kicking off season 6 today. And I am so grateful for all of you who have watched and listened to our continuing weekly chats. I'm Maria Tomas Keegan, your host, and as a career and life coach for women, my vision is to create resources that help women navigate career and life challenges with more ease and grace, and to let them know they're not alone. Each weekly inspiring conversation that I have with fabulous women are intended to help women around the world become more confident, resilient, and brave in their careers and in their lives. So if something strikes a chord with you while you're listening, take a look at the show notes below, because there are a number of different ways that you can reach out to my guest and me. So let me ask you a question. Do you ever find it difficult to make a decision? Maybe you second guess yourself, and maybe you get stuck in analysis paralysis. You're not alone if you answered yes to those questions, because it can happen to the best of us at any given moment. We can get overwhelmed. And I thought then, because I have this trouble every once in a while myself, I thought it would be a great topic to bring you to kick off this new season of the podcast and in the new year. So who doesn't want to make better decisions with more peace of mind, right? So I am thrilled to introduce to you my guest, Paula Hannasch. Aside from being a very dear friend of mine, she is a valued colleague and an amazing business coach. And she knows what it is to live in the corporate life and make the leap to entrepreneurship. She did that several years ago. She devotes her practice to helping women overcome obstacles and define their unique road to success. Paula's special gift is knowing how to get her clients fast results and manifest peace of mind in the process. She's a much sought after coach who finds joy in helping her clients discover what they want and make the right choices and decisions to make it happen. So let me introduce you to Paula. Hello, Paula. Thank you so much.
Hi, my friend. So good to see you. Congratulations on episode 200 and season 6. Fabulous.
And I'm so honored that you're joining us for this kickoff to the 6th season and the 200th episode. It is a milestone. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I honestly feel so honored. I feel so honored to kick off the season with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we're heart friends. We are heart friends.
Okay, let's get started, Paula. I want to pull back the curtain a little bit on you. Okay. Would you tell us just a bit about your background and what brought you to being the coach that you are?
Sure. That would be great. Okay, so as far as the background goes, I thought that there was only really one way that I could live, and that was more of a 9-to-5 type of existence, right? So as I, got married, had kids, all that good stuff, that's the route I followed. But I always had in my heart, I even had somebody tell me in one of my jobs, what are you doing here? You really need to have your own business, because I was always more interested in helping the people I worked with. And sometimes that could get me in trouble. So I branched out into my own business, which was great. But I had been like a big time worrier. I say I was like an Olympic warrior without the gold medal. I misplaced it somewhere. So I really, no matter what I did, no matter what job, no matter how my business went, 2 things would really plague me: indecision and peace of mind. And so I began this journey. I became a business coach. I'm a life coach, all that good stuff. But I've always been somebody that researched and followed things and sought out my own answers. Even if somebody else gave me the answers, I had to find out and field test it myself. So along that line, that's exactly what happened. I believe I believe we all have inner guidance. And so I asked my own inner guidance, show me the way, show me the path. I cannot keep living this way. And so I did find keys to being at peace. I did find keys to decision making. I've implemented them, and I can't tell you how much different I am on the inside since that happened. So it is my joy, whether I'm working with a woman in business, whether I'm working with her just, in her life path, it doesn't matter. Typically, if you have indecision, typically you're not going to have peace of mind. And so I work with them to really get what they want and get it quickly, because it doesn't have to take a long time, and to get them out of worry mode because they're blocking themselves. So that's how I ended up here. It is the joy of my life to be a coach and work with women on this. And I see results so quick with them. And they really reach peace of mind quickly. So that's how I got here, and I love it.
What a journey. What a
Yeah.
journey. I meet so many women who tell me their story, and it is, they coach now,
Yeah.
specializing on what they struggled most with themselves and found the answers to. And I just love that happened for you too.
Yeah.
I love that you called yourself an Olympic warrior without the gold medal. Yeah. I love to say worrying is like praying for what you don't want.
Right.
Right. Wow.
Yes.
All right. So I know one of the things that you often say is that you work with women to help them gain peace of mind in real time.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what that means, and how did that come about for you?
Sure. I would love to. Peace of mind isn't something that we have to have down the road. It's not something, it's something that we can have today, no matter what our situation is. And what I say is, for the longest time, not knowing it, but I felt like I needed life to line up so I could stop worrying. But I found that no matter what the situation was, even when things would go good, I'd worry about them going bad. So it wasn't life that needed to change. It was me that needed to change, no matter what life was doing. My big wake up call is one day I was in the house by myself, right? I have a family, all that. And I was in the house by myself, and I literally doubled over in pain. I literally couldn't stand up, couldn't sit down, anything, for probably 1 to 2 minutes. And when I started to come out of it and stand up, I said, this is ridiculous. I just knew it was from the worry that I was constantly in. I actually, in my teens, had lost some of my hair from so much worry. Unbelievable. I had lost my hair from some of the worry. And I was, had stomach problems, all this kind of stuff. But I was a high achiever. Man, I was out there. I was doing the stuff. I was involved in things. And that's the way I've been my whole life. And I was worried no matter what on the inside. So when I talk about a woman having peace of mind in real time, it's not about taking you out of your situation. If we can work and get you to a place where you have peace of mind no matter what's going on, you will be amazed to see how quick what's going on will change. And it is mind-boggling to see how quick that can happen.
When you said that you were doubled over in pain, and you recognized that it was because you were so stressed from the worry, that is such a shining example of how we can make ourselves sick when we are worried, when we don't know the solution. We don't know how to manage all of that. So let me ask, when you're working with people, do you find that they are generally comfortable making decisions?
Absolutely not. Not the norm, not normally. Okay, I know that there's always the exception, and we've got those gals that have learned to live into their skin and be confident. By and large, most people make a decision and go, oh, dear Lord, please let this be good. Please let it be a good decision.
Yeah. So why do you think they're not comfortable with decisions?
The reason I think they're not comfortable with decisions is because the bottom line, they really haven't learned to trust themselves and their own inner guidance. We all have inner guidance. We all do. And the bottom line is, when you see a kid and they don't like something, they just tell you, right? And we tell them, stop it. You're not being nice. That's not nice. When really they're just saying from their gut, I don't like it. And that is, by the time we're adults, what we've learned is to look at everybody else and how it affects them, what they say and think about it. Now, there's a place for that. When you, like you and I, Maria, we give accountability to each other in different ways. And so that's really good. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about letting somebody talk us out of what we feel is best for us. When we let somebody talk us out of that, that creates a lot of confusion. The other thing is, the other place is we might know what we really want, but in our mind, the consequences of stepping into it affects far too many other people. So in both those ways, we have limited ourselves from listening to what we feel, to listening to what feels right for us. And as a result, we get in a lot of indecision, and it creates confusion, and confusion and indecision create very much a lack of peace of mind at all. So we are in a constant worry, stress cycle as a result.
Yeah. Boy, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I want to dig into that just a little bit.
Sure.
The confusion that we have, the discomfort we have when what we really want is not what someone else wants, either for us or with us. And now there is this dissension. And we struggle a lot, I think, especially as women, because we are peacekeepers. We are nurturers. We're people pleasers. When those things come up for us, it puts us in a quandary, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure.
So how do we make ourselves feel better about making a decision that maybe is at odds with someone else or something else?
Sure, that's a fantastic question. So typically when somebody's looking at making a decision, no matter what the decision is, typically what happens is they make a decision too far out. And what I mean by that is number one, we have to look at what's in front of us. Let's say, because you're a career coach, let's take that. Somebody is in a career, they're in a job, they're in a business, whatever, that they're not happy, right? They're not happy. And so they're like, should I leave? Should I not leave? You're not even there yet. Should I leave or should I not leave? Let's back way the heck up. Let's back the truck up. And where you really are is being aware, first of all, of how you're feeling. It's like, okay, instead of just going to should I leave or stay, let's go to how am I feeling? I'm now aware that I'm not happy about this. What am I not happy about? And then the next thing is to really understand what you're not happy about and embrace it. Don't try to push it down. Don't try to push it away. Well, I don't like my manager. I feel like they micromanage. They don't really, give enough appreciation. Okay. In your space, own that. I don't like that. That's your inner guidance and your soul saying you want something different, but you can't get something different until you own what you feel. So that's the very first step.
I love that you explained that. that we try to make decisions too far out, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to back up the truck. I love the way you said
Yeah.
that. So that we are evaluating what it is we are unhappy about, that we are unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
and then figuring out how to manage that
Yeah.
first, right? It comes in
First, yeah.
stages, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that can be a very uncomfortable place to be
Absolutely.
here and now, right? I'm
Yeah.
not happy. My boss is, not respecting me, doesn't listen, whatever it is,
Whatever
right?
it is.
Undervalued, under a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So how do they go from that
Mm-hmm.
place of discomfort
Mm-hmm.
to a place of peace of mind?
Okay, great question. Fantastic. So, one of the ways to go, you can't just go from, well, typically, you're not going to, it's a big jump to go from there to peace of mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's a big jump. So, just saying, oh, Paula, stop. You're making great money. You've got a good position. Stop whining about it. Our emotions are there to guide us. And when we don't enjoy our work, going to work, whatever it is, that is our inner guidance, guiding us by our emotions to say something's not right here. So to go to the place of peace of mind, what that means is you're going to now that you know how you feel, you're going to embrace it. It's like, heck yeah, this is how I feel about this. Then the next step is when you feel ready, release that. Don't hold on to it. And what I mean by that is you can journal out your feelings. You can journal and burn it at the sink, make sure the flame's out. But there's energy there that's not working for you. And the first thing is you have to get that up and out. And once you get that up and out and release it, there is a release with it. And then the next step for that is to really just listen and just figure out, what do I want? What do I want? And then once you figure out, and I have a process for that. I know we have a handout today too, that people can get. And I do have a process for that in the handout of how to figure out what you want. And once you know what you want, that's when there's different ways that you can go about it to get what you want. But the biggest thing is to realize you can have what you want. You can have peace of mind, but being aware that you're not feeling great and what you're not feeling great about, not pushing it down, but hugging it and owning it. And then when you feel ready to release it, you just release it out of you. I call it God, people call it universe, but release it to that higher power for you and just say, I need you to help me. And then the next step is, let's figure out what I want. And let me just know whatever I want, that it is possible. I am here to tell you it is possible. And that was the biggest mind shift for me, is to realize it is possible. I don't care what it is possible. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It does. It's not an easy journey to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing so I'm thinking about the work I do with my clients. We talk a lot about what do you want, and knowing what you want, right? Getting really crystal clear about that.
Yeah.
Brings its own peace of mind, right?
Yeah.
It's like the first step. It's the start of feeling at peace, that you know what you want.
Yeah.
Now, the journey to get from knowing what you want to having it, to being it, whatever that is for you, is just that. It's a journey. And it has, ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster ride, quite frankly. But knowing what you want and being at peace with that, I think, is a wonderful, just a wonderful way to think about it.
Yes, I agree. And that's the biggest thing too. The biggest thing with it is, it really is, once we, and I see somebody that said, you can't get something different until you own what you feel. Yes, that's so true. And that's the biggest thing is that's a piece that people want to not own. If I rock the boat, if I do something different, it doesn't just affect me, it affects other people. We've got to back the truck up and say, what am I feeling? And a lot of times we do it because we think and we feel, if I really tune into myself, it's going to lead me to a decision that could upset the cart for others. The universe is always after your well-being. When I began to realize that, my life turned around, that I wasn't being tested, punished, anything like that, that the universe, whatever your higher power, again, I call that God for me, but my inner guidance, it's always about my well-being, and it will always lead me to my well-being, which means it's going to be a win-win for me and for the other people on the other side of my decision. So owning what I feel, embracing what I feel, releasing it. And then the next piece is to know what you want. And that's, again, where I work with people too, is I help them to know what they want. And then we work to break away from, is it possible? Do I think it's possible? And all the things that are telling you it's not possible. Because again, a big key is, if it's in your heart, if you desire and want it, it's possible. And there is a way, and there is a way for it to be a win-win for the people involved. Can you imagine letting that just flood over you? Like,
right. So it has to do with believing in yourself, doesn't it?
100%. It's going back to that confident part that says, this is my inner guidance sharing with me, something's not right for me here. I'm really wanting something different, but what does that mean? And that's where a lot of people just hold for a long time and don't know how to go from there to peace.
Yeah. It's a place where a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. One of the things I've heard you say this a lot, and you alluded to it just a moment ago, your heart, right?
Right.
Drop into your heart are words I've heard you use. I don't think you said exactly those words just a minute ago, but you alluded to them. So tell us what you mean by dropping into your heart.
Sure. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. We were always made, we are made body, mind, and spirit, and we were made for them to work together. It was never meant to be just the body, just the mind, just the spirit. It was made to be this beautiful trifecta. So often we get into our mind, right? And then we're just thinking, and what's the logical way? And that's the part where we lose our peace. And that's the part that gets us going, if I own my feelings, this is going to break up everything. If I own my feelings, this is going to rock the cart. So when we talk about dropping into our heart, in our heart is where our imaginings are, our imaging, our pictures of what we want our life to be, or our pictures, thoughts, and ideas that come. And in our mind then takes that and it will put plan and it will put structure to it. And then the physical body will walk all of that out. So the problem can be that we're not dropping into the heart part. We're staying in the part that's saying, if I do this, then that will happen. If I do this, then that will happen. Now, there's value in that. Don't get me wrong. There's value in that. And once I drop from the logic, from the thinking, from the overthinking into, I get quiet and just put my hand here. I just get quiet. I breathe and I say, Spirit, what's right for me? Show me what I'm feeling. Show me what my heart's feeling. Help me to get a grip on this. Something's not cool for me. And you just sit with it. And then the first answer that comes, lay hold of it. Don't talk yourself out of it. That's what I mean by dropping into your heart. That's where your inner guidance is. And whatever those answers are, there's possibility for it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know what? I think we all, a lot of time, get trapped in our head, and we overthink, as you said, we overthink things. We second guess ourselves.
Yeah.
An idea comes up for us, and we are our own worst enemy and our first naysayer, right? Well,
Right.
that won't work. We're in our heads,
Yeah.
and dropping into your heart and listening to, I call it your inner wisdom,
Yeah.
right? Listening to that, your intuition.
Yeah.
It plays such a big role
Mhm.
in having peace of mind, I think, is by
Yeah.
trusting
Mhm.
how we feel, that what we feel is valid,
Yes.
right? That we don't invalidate our feelings.
Mhm.
There are plenty of other people who will try to do that for us.
Absolutely.
If we just believe that we know what's best for ourselves
Mhm.
and listen to that inner wisdom, that inner guidance,
Yeah.
then I think we have a better chance of finding peace of mind sooner in the process
Yeah.
than we might
Absolutely.
otherwise find it. Yeah.
I so love the way you said that. Can you be my translator? No. I love the way you said that. That is so
Wow.
right on.
Well,
That's
I'm
so right
glad
on.
you brought that out of me. So
Good.
it's a this is a pairsome, a twosome, a duo,
There
right?
we go.
We're a duo here.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Um, okay. So the heart part
Mhm.
feels like it is like the most important piece of the
Mhm.
process that we have to acknowledge, we have to tune into, right?
Correct. It really is. Because uh, our emotions are a blessing to us. We are told you're too sensitive, you to this, to that. If we would recognize that our emotions are part of our inner guidance, leading us, telling us what feels right for us and what doesn't, then it's so much easier to get to peace of mind. So if we're at work and we're doing things and there's things about it just so not satisfying, understanding that's my inner guidance telling me something's not right for me. Well, the sooner I go down that path of I'm asking my inner guidance to show me what's going to work for me, show me what I could change, help me with areas where I'm stopping my own progress, we're going to get there a lot faster, that's for sure. So it's just as you're saying, going to the heart part, once we realize, that's why I say the first step is awareness. Once you realize you're not doing okay with something, once you realize in your decision making process that you are in indecision, at that point we can drop to our heart and say, what are the issues I'm really dealing with here? Just help them to be clear here. And what do I do with these? What's upsetting me about it? And once we get real about that, and that's dropping into our heart about it, then we truly have something to work with and we can get you out of it quick.
Yeah, well, I like that part, getting us out of that quick. And I'm going to just invite everyone watching who wants to know more about that to reach out to you. But I it's still a process, right?
Definitely.
But moving yourself out of that feeling of indecision,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can help quickly move out of, right?
Absolutely.
By changing the way you think about it and the way you acknowledge how you feel about it.
That's huge. That's huge in coming out of indecision
Yeah.
because you're allowing yourself to own what's really going on for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you own what's really going on for you, now you're on solid ground to figure out what's next.
Right. That makes a lot of sense because when you really know what is going on and how you feel about it, that's when you can make a move. right? You can decide decision, right? You can decide what's the next thing you want to do. And
Right.
again, I go back to what you said before.
Yeah.
Don't jump forward so far
Yeah.
and try to fix the whole problem
Yeah.
without kind of breaking it down and moving through it
Piece
kind of
by piece.
systematically, right?
Yep.
One step at a time.
Exactly.
Until you can see the solution.
Exactly. It's a beautiful way to say it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So going through being aware, embracing what you feel, being able to release that, and then just having an awareness, okay, what do I want? It may not be you have to leave that job. Maybe you need to leave the department. Or it may be that you just need to talk and say, the job that I have, go to your boss or, your business and go, this doesn't work for me. What else can we do?
Right.
It doesn't have to be as dramatic as you may be thinking it has to be, whether it's job, relationship, whatever.
Right.
But
There may be some steps that you can take, some conversations you can have.
Exactly.
With yourself to start, right? Yeah. And then with whoever else might be involved. And, the solution, it may not have to be drastic.
Many times it doesn't.
Right.
Many times it's not nearly as drastic as you think it has to be.
Right.
Yeah, many times.
Or maybe the ultimate solution is a big leap. But making things better along the way is something you can decide how to do.
I love that.
Those are those smaller steps.
Exactly.
Yeah, that all. I think a lot of people, myself included, when we're struggling with indecision about something, I think we often leap too far, right? It's a bridge too far to try to solve the problem in its entirety without breaking it down into more manageable chunks.
Yeah.
And solving each little chunk as you go along. And ultimately, and building peace of mind along the way. It's like, whoa, okay, now I feel better about that. When you feel better, you can think more clearly.
Amen, sister. That's so true.
Yeah, I'm just working that through in my head, and I'm going, yeah, that would bring peace of mind in and of itself. Just feeling better and feeling like, well, this is a challenge that I really can navigate. It's possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well said.
Makes so much sense, Paula. I love the process you just walked us through. Because I think a lot of people, we stay in our heads, like we said, and we don't drop into our heart and really listen. Yeah.
And really allow ourselves to own what we are truly feeling at that moment.
Yeah, that's so important, right? We think that that we devalue, right? We devalue our feelings.
Yeah.
We
don't want to rock the boat.
We think they're less important than what other people are feeling. And we defer to our disservice a lot of time.
If you find you're always complaining about your work, your business, your job, your relationships, your life, whatever, there's a reason you're complaining about it. And you can do something about it. And you don't have to stay in a place of indecision. You can get through and have courage to decide what you want step by step by step, so that by the time you really know what you want, it feels good to you.
Yeah.
So change is possible.
Yeah. And it gets clearer as you move through that cycle.
Absolutely.
It gets clearer. Yeah. And when things are clear, decisions are so much easier to make.
Right? Did you notice that too?
Yeah. Oh, that one, if I hadn't figured that out, it would have slapped me in the face.
Right. It's amazing how easy the process can get taking it one step at a time to get there.
Oh, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. And that's so true about so many things.
Right.
But the choices and decisions that we get to make
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be such a struggle.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. You and I could talk about this forever.
Yeah.
But we can't on this show. So I would love to have you leave us with some takeaways that are simple and practical. So we always end our episodes this way with my guests sharing some tips. That's why I call the show Tips for the Transition.
Love it.
So, what would you like to leave us with first? What's your first one?
Sure. My first one is always, be in gratitude. So I'm having gratitude for you allowing this conversation today, allowing me on today, and for us to talk about this, to have women find peace. So that's number one above everything. Having gratitude for wherever you are, no matter what it looks like, is huge. And it's a big energy shifter. Another big tip.
Let's stop on that one for just
Sure.
a second, because that one is I'm big on gratitude as well.
Yeah.
It shifts everything for me
Yes.
when I am feeling like the victim of something.
Mm-hmm.
I have felt that in my life. Not a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling like life is happening to me,
Mm-hmm.
right, instead of for me.
Right.
When I slip into my gratitude, I call it a gratitude rampage. I do this when I really need my spirit lifted. The rampage is I set my timer for 3 minutes and I rattle off as many things as I can in that time.
I love that. I love that.
That I'm grateful for. And it really does shift the way I feel about the situation I'm in. So
Yeah.
I love that you started with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's super important, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So what's
yeah.
your second one? You said there's another big one. What's your second one?
Yeah. Number one is just gratitude for wherever you're at, whatever situation you're in. Right away, just saying, I'm so grateful I'm here. I'm so grateful the way I'm taken care of. Just anything that you can see that to give thanks for. Second thing is to be aware of what you're feeling. Don't push it down or push it away. Own what you feel. If you're not happy in a situation, just own it. That doesn't mean to say, I'm not happy, I have to leave this job, this relationship. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. What it means is I'm aware and I'm embracing what I'm feeling, where I'm at. So it's very powerful. And then number three is release. When you feel like you've owned it, you've embraced it, and you're ready to let it go and just be open to the solutions, then you just release it and say, okay, I'm surrendering these feelings. Show me a better way. Show me how to deal with this. And then the fourth tip really is just let's figure out what you do want. Because and know that it's possible, whatever you want, the universe says, I'm about your well-being and it is possible. So those are my 4 tips that can turn things around and can give you peace of mind on the journey. And again, I have something in there that I know you're going to share, but it does have a little process and exercise to help you figure out what you do want in it.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that gift
Yeah.
with everyone who's watching and listening.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Those are great tips, great takeaways. They are not necessarily easy to do. The releasing part, I love that you shared earlier that a great way to do that is by writing out how you feel. You know, a lot of people don't think that they're writers or journalers, but you don't have to be a writer.
Yeah.
All you need to do is get the words out of your head onto paper.
Hmm.
And just that physical act can be a release for you, a release and a relief, right? That now it's out of your head. And I love what you do. You said burn it in the kitchen sink and
Yeah.
make sure the flames are out,
Yeah.
right? That's a great way to release it as
Yeah.
well. Literally release it into, you're creating smoke out of it.
Yeah. Can I add just a little something to that really
Yeah.
super quick? The thing is, that's why we feel better when we're upset and we talk to somebody, because we are
Yes.
holding that energy, whatever it is within us. And the reason I say write it, and it can help when you talk to somebody too. The
Yeah.
reason I say write it is some things are so personal. This is very personal. I need to have a safe space to get out how upset I am or what I want to change or whatever. And that energy literally moves from inside of us to outside. And then I just say to burn it, shred it, whatever, because those are for your eyes only. And it's an energy shift. And once we have that energy shift, we are now going from problem energy to now I've opened myself up to solution energy. Does it make sense?
Love that.
Okay, good.
To move from problem energy, releasing it moves you into being open that
Mhm.
there is a solution. That
Yes.
maybe you've been so stuck in problem mode that you haven't been able to see.
Yes, exactly.
That is so powerful, I think.
Good, good, good.
Paula, thank you. I really appreciate your being here for my 200th episode. It's so, I really am honored that you accepted the invitation to do this. And I know that from this conversation, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to want to reach out to you and learn more about how you do this and how you help people do this. So, what is the one best way that people can reach out to you?
Sure. Actually, I think the easiest way is to get them to my website, and I have a link there for contact. So it's www.paulahannasch. I'm going to spell it because I have a weird last name. Paula, Paula, nice old timey name. Hannasch, HAN, and then another N, AS like Susan, C like Charlie, H.com. And I also really want to encourage everybody what an amazing career coach you are, and encourage them to tune into you and really lay hold of your seriously great skills to get them from one place to the other in their career. I mean that. And thank you for having me as well.
Thank you so much, Paula. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your being here. So thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
And for everyone else who are watching and listening, I want you to know how much I appreciate you for being a part of this community. So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe so you don't miss another one. Leave a comment or, click a star if there's a star. Just let us know what you liked about it. And as I said at the top of the show, I love creating and sharing resources for women. Plus, as a career and life coach, I work with women to help them navigate challenging times with more ease and grace. So if something in this episode resonates and you'd like a fresh perspective on your own situation, let's have a chat. Let's continue this conversation. I have a private Facebook group called the Career Transition Roadmap. Paula has a group. The link for her group is going to be in the show notes below as well. So join us. Let's continue this conversation. Come ask questions. We'd be happy to have a chat with you. And let's meet again here next Wednesday at the same time, because you know what? I believe it's our time to thrive. So let's thrive together. Till next time, I'm Maria Tomas Keegan, helping you turn transition into triumph.